Anytime that you make an offer on a property, your real estate agent is required to give you an estimate of the closing cost. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at what it actually costs to buy a home. Over the past 18 years of helping clients buy, sell, and invest in real estate, I've had the opportunity to meet with hundreds of buyers and review what it actually costs to buy a home. I think closing costs are one of the things that buyers don't fully appreciate until it's actually explained to them in person. Most online calculators don't give an accurate analysis of all the potential costs associated with buying a home, so hopefully you'll find this video helpful. So for this video, we're going to use a home that was recently listed for sale in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. We're going to assume a purchase price of $475,000 and that the buyer is putting 20% down on a conventional loan with a fixed interest rate of 6.5%. Now, whenever I estimate closing costs for clients, I always try to overestimate the interest rate and some of the costs. And there are a few reasons why I do this. Number one, we typically do not know what the actual interest rate is going to be until the buyer puts the home under contract and goes to lock their rate in with their lender. Number two, when I draft an agreement of sale or I draft an offer on behalf of the buyer, I'm going to include a maximum interest rate that the buyer is willing to accept. So we want to demonstrate that in the estimate of closing costs. And then number three, it's always better for the final figures to be a little bit higher, or actually it's always better for the final figures to be a little bit lower than what we had on our original estimates. First up are the lender fees. This column on the left-hand side shows the fees that we typically associate with the origination of your mortgage. Now, every lender is going to be a little different in how they package their fees, so it's important that you ask your lender what are the charges for them to originate your loan. You'll typically see charges like an appraisal fee, credit report, flood certification, maybe doc prep, or other origination charges on the lender's estimate. Now, in the right-hand column, you'll see additional charges that are also part of the transaction, like transfer tax, charges to notarize and record the legal paperwork at the courthouse, perhaps a commission charged by the buyer's agent or buyer brokerage, your first year of homeowner's insurance, and the cost for all of the inspections and due diligence. Next up, we have title insurance. Title insurance is meant to protect the owner's and or lender's financial interest in the property. It's to protect them against loss due to title defects, liens, or other matters. And in Pennsylvania, the cost for title insurance, the cost for the title insurance policy is based on the purchase price of the home. So in theory, you could go to any title insurance company and expect to pay the same amount for the title policy based on the cost of the home. In addition to the title insurance, the lender may require endorsements to the policy, which would further protect the lender's interest in the home. Now, let's talk about real estate taxes. As a general rule of thumb, you will need approximately 1 year's worth of real estate taxes up front when you go to buy a house. And this money is allocated in two ways on the closing cost estimate. Now, the column on the right shows the buyer reimbursing the seller for the real estate taxes that the seller has already paid for. This is on a prorated basis based on the settlement date through the end of the tax cycle. And for this home, the county and municipal taxes run on a normal calendar year, and the school taxes start July 1st and run through June 30th. The column on the left shows the taxes that the lender is going to collect at settlement to establish the escrow accounts for taxes that will be coming due in the future. Depending on the time of year, you may pay a little bit more in the lender escrow column and less in the reimbursement to the seller column, or vice versa. Just remember, as a general rule of thumb, you'll need to have the equivalent of 1 full year's worth of real estate taxes up front when you go to buy a house. Now, let's summarize the transaction. In order to buy this home, you'll need the purchase price of $475,000, $14,000 in closing costs, $4,100 to set up your escrow account, and about $1,000 to reimburse the seller for the unused portion of the taxes that they've paid for. Now, we know that you're getting a loan of 80% of the purchase price, which is $380,000. We're going to subtract that from the $494,168 that you need to buy the house, which gives us a balance of $114,168.04. This is the total amount Now let's look at the monthly payment summary. First, we have the principal and interest of $2,400. Next, we have the real estate taxes of $369 and the homeowner's insurance payment of $100. Remember, every month, part of your payment is going into an escrow account with your lender so that they can pay the real estate taxes and homeowner's insurance bills when they become due in the future. So this brings your total monthly payment to $2,870. So there you have it. Closing costs explained. Now, there are a number of variables that would have to be considered every time this estimate is drafted, and those variables are always going to influence the total cost. Things like the type of loan, the purchase price of the house, the amount you're going to put down, whether you're putting 3%, 5%, 20%, the lender's actual fees. Transfer tax may be higher depending on the area, or if the home is part of a condominium association or homeowners association. All of these and more need to be considered when evaluating the actual costs of the property. This example gives you a general idea of what to expect. However, a great buyer's agent is going to be able to draft an estimate based on your particular needs and help you evaluate your options. If you have any additional questions or if we can be of service, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help.